Open letter sent to the President of the government. Early retirement, long trading careers from his position as Prime Minister. I hope he knows how to give the appropriate guidelines so that the enormous uncertainty and unease that Minister Escrivá is causing in our group. By Luis Ortega. Dear Mr. President of the government, my name is Luis Ortega. I am an early retiree, at 61 years of age. I was fired from my job for financial and organizational reasons. I had to go through unemployment for 2 years before I had to take early retirement. During that period of time, I did not receive a single job offer from CEPI, not even one. It is a clear example of the ineffectiveness and absolute neglect of that institution with unemployed people over 50 years of age. Despite having contributed to Social Security for more than 45 years, the calculation of my pension has been affected by 24%. No, Mr. President, not a 24% premium for the years listed in excess of the 37 years and 3 months currently required by the law, but a penalty, reduction, and also, in perpetuity, until my death. Outrageous and very unfair. You will agree with me that it is the law to complain in the face of such inequity, right, Mr. President? Put yourself in my place, and in that of hundreds of thousands of people in a similar situation. In defense of my legitimate rights and in my capacity as a worker with more than 45 years of contributions, and in the face of existing legal distress, I have registered as a member of the ASJUBI 40 Association, which claims the total and immediate repeal of the reduction coefficients that it suffers the group of early retirees who have contributed more than 40 years. In any case, I send this letter solely and exclusively in a personal capacity. Undoubtedly, you are well aware of this association and its vindication, since there is an image in which both you and Magdalena Valerio both pose very smiling in front of the ASJUBI 40 banner in a concentration that, probably, I suspect, took place shortly before some elections. As a motto of ASJUBI 40 says, the vote is the bread of the politicians. Ours is justice and dignity. This claim of ASJUBI 40 has also been validated by the Congress of Deputies, Senate, 14 autonomous communities and numerous provincial councils, as well as city councils, through the approval of non-law bills, PNL, or motions. Despite the aforementioned enormous and explicit popular support, legally formalized, the government, incomprehensibly, has not solved this injustice and discrimination. When all these institutions agree, unanimously, and urge the government to correct what is claimed and it turns a deaf ear, it represents a clear denial of the government of the highest democratic institutions and, consequently, a denial of all citizens they represent. We should even examine whether ignoring that popular demand could be contrary to the Constitution. Currently, the issue of early retirement with long contribution careers is included in recommendation number 12 of the Toledo Pact. On the 18th of February, the deadline for the delivery of a report, demanded of Minister Jose Luis Escrivá, by the Toledo Pact and endorsed by the Congress of Deputies, was met. To date, the minister has not presented any report or given any explanation about it. It is further proof of the alleged contempt for democratic institutions by the government or one of its members. The group affected by the injustice of the reduction coefficients applied to long contribution periods is, without a doubt, the one that has contributed the most to the sustainability of the public pension system and to the social welfare of this country, through their contributions paid to the Social Security and taxes to the public treasury. It is a shame that now, upon reaching retirement, he is once again deprived of his legitimate rights. There are many reasons for repealing these coefficients, but I will present, to summarize, only 2 of them. 1. Discrimination. 37 years and 3 months are enough to retire at ordinary age with a full pension. In 2027 it will go to 38 years and 6 months. Well, a person retired early, at age 63, with, for example, 46 years of contributions, a reduction coefficient of 13% is applied, already for their entire life. Incomprehensible, right? Or rather, outrageous. But let's continue with the discrimination, this time in relation to part of employees of the state itself. A passive classes of the state incorporated before 2011. They can retire at 60 years of age, with 35 years of service and having a full pension. B. Deputies and senators prior to the 2011 reform with very preferential treatment with respect to the pension. C. Ministers with a maximum pension without having contributed the years required of other groups. Let's not mention certain life pensions that have some top-level public offices. Other discrimination occurs with A. People who with only 25 years of contributions and who continue their work activity beyond 65 years of age receive a percentage of the premium in their pension for each additional year worked. B. There are 8 special regimes in Social Security with preferential treatment regarding early retirement. These are activities classified as painful or dangerous. The funny thing is that only one of them, mining activity, appears in the first places of the statistics of accidents and occupational diseases. Has the legislator and the government thought that there are many other activities which after 40 years of work are equally painful and dangerous, such as, for example, health personnel, transporters, supermarket cashiers, construction, assembly lines and along etc.? Do you remember when we used to go out to applaud them at 2000 hours? Are you able to see how a working person can feel in these and other activities? After 40 years working and making contributions, these people are, according to official statistics, those who suffer with the highest incidence of accidents at work and occupational diseases. It is logical that, after so many years of work, they suffer bone, muscle ailments, etc. I think that some politicians are very far from reality. From day to day, they hardly know what it is to work from the age of 14 or 15. They hardly understand and value the effort of combining work with night studies. They hardly understand the physical and mental fatigue of so many years of work. I think that very few of today's politicians have that experience and, consequently, that problem is far away. My proposal is that people with 40 or more years of contributions make up what would be the 9th special social security scheme and can retire with a full pension. It is justice. It is necessary to end the discrimination they suffer. Very easy, if there is political will. 2. Contributivity. The Toledo Pact itself, in its recommendation number 11, advocates contributivity in the pension system. It clearly states that there must be a balanced relationship between effort years of contributions and benefit pension. What better example for contributivity than having contributed for 40 or more years should receiving the full pension imply? That is balanced relationship. It's very clear, isn't it? What doubt can they have about it? Ultimately and in conclusion, the pension must be determined by the years of contributions and not by the retirement age. 40 years of contributions should guarantee to receive the full pension, without any reduction. To further consolidate the social security accounts, it should not focus on the cuts that Minister Escrivá announces, as his sole objective, with his pruning shears. What needs to be done is to increase income. Measures to reduce youth unemployment, unemployment of people over 50 years of age, temporary employment, solve the problem of false self-employed workers, the ineffectiveness of the SEPI, increase ridiculous wages, stop contributions and along etc. Measures to be taken from the Ministry of Labor. Unfortunately, breaking down these two ministries has proven to be a gross error. Finally, from your position as president of the government, I hope you know how to give the appropriate guidelines so that the enormous uncertainty and unease that Minister Escrivá is causing in our group, with his policy of spreading, by himself or by third parties, probe balloons and half-truths, stop immediately. He is doing great harm to a particularly sensitive and highly punished group. We are an old group and that is why our worst enemy is time. For obvious reasons that require no explanation, we need the fair recognition of the right to a full pension. Thanks to the enormous contribution we have made with our effort and work for the growth of this country. Effort must be rewarded and not penalized. Spanish legislation regarding pensions, as you know, has suffered 3 huge blows since the European Court of Justice in the last year. These laws had to be modified due to the negative opinion of the ECJ because they were considered discriminatory. I hope, for the sake of international reliability in our legislation, that the claim of ASJUBI 40 will be attended, in the first instance, by the government, and it will not be international bodies that have to impose, once again, its change, to discredit and shame of our legislation. To solve the aforementioned claim, only 3 words should be thought of: dignity, equity and justice. This is enough. Please remember those 3 words. I thank you in advance for your response to this public letter and the immediate resolution of an injustice and indignity that goes on for too long. Volume up, content copy, share, star border.